Hey friends, welcome to my session. As you can tell by the title, Whiteboarding Wizardry with Kami, this session is all about whiteboarding, or chalkboarding, or blackboarding, or dry erase boarding, whatever you call it. It is a concept that we teachers know very, very well. In fact, we do it every day. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it, okay? Here we go. First and foremost, who am I? What are you gonna get from this session? My name is Marcus Stein. I'm the Director of Professional Development with an education company in Louisiana called AXI Education Solutions. I'm also a Kami hero. I'm also a Google certified trainer. I'm also a former classroom teacher. This is not meant to be a listing of my resume, but I just want to share that I live in this field. I love educational technology, and I love sharing best practices with teachers like you. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas as you're watching this video, you can hit me up on social media. I'm Mr. Stein online. You can ask me anything, anytime. That rhymes. It does. So to get your mind wrapped around what we're gonna discuss today, let's have a quick conversation, okay? Pretend like everything was wiped away from your classroom, including the teacher and the students, and you had to build a classroom from scratch. What are your classroom non-negotiables? Another analogy. Think about your classroom like it's one of those role-playing video games like The Sims or SimCity, where you really have to start from scratch. And ask yourself, what are your classroom non-negotiables? Like, what could you not teach without, okay? I think for myself, I need a teacher and students. You need somebody to lead and somebody to learn. I would need a curriculum, so some knowledge in my brain of what I'm going to share. And then I think about third or fourth down the list would be my whiteboard or my dry erase board. And I would venture to say the same goes for a lot of you. Your whiteboard, your dry erase board, your chalkboard, your smart board, your interactive board, whatever you call it, that's the space where you bring the whole class together, where you have your teachable moments, where you explain things in detail, and where the kids have that aha. So, as we learn today, I want you to remember this idea of how important it is to bring the class together. How a whiteboard, a dry erase board, a chalkboard, it is indeed a non-negotiable because that's where the action happens. All right? So it is so pivotal, it is so magnanimous to our classrooms that we've carried that whiteboard throughout the history of formal education. I'll give you an example. Get this. In the 1960s, there was a system invented. It was called the Victor Electrowriter Remote Teaching System. Have you heard of it? Me either, right? So this system required a teacher to write on a piece of paper, and everything that the person transcribed was transmitted across telephone wires. And then as the message was transmitted, it was transcribed to a projector where it showed whatever the teacher was writing to a remote audience. Yeah, remote learning, the ability to take your whiteboard and bring it wherever you go, that's not new. In fact, in the 1960s, it was something huge that solved a problem of teachers being able to teach anywhere. So there's an article here with a summary on how that system worked, but I want you to think about how that system is not that far-fetched from what we're trying to solve today. That whiteboard, we do want to bring it everywhere with us. And so just keeping this theme of how essential and non-negotiable the whiteboard is, in the 60s, even they saw the problem of it needing to be everywhere, traveling with us. And so if you come to today's session where we're talking about whiteboarding with Kami, it's the same problem from the 60s. We want to be able to explain, show what we know, have those teachable moments anytime, anywhere. And Kami is going to allow us to do that. And so there's an article posted on Kami's website with lots of ideas on how Kami can be used for remote learning. But for the sake of today, we keeping it simple. We keeping it super, super simple. And we're gonna focus on the ability to whiteboard no matter where you go. And so what I wanna do is take you through some innovations, some ways that Kami, like the Victor Electro Writer Machine, has really taken this essential classroom tool and has now allowed us to carry it with us no matter where our classrooms go. And so the first three things that I would say are fantastic innovations that have allowed me to continue whiteboarding no matter what are that the Kami whiteboard ensures access. So that means everybody can see it. Everybody has access to what I'm teaching. I would say the second innovation is that I'm able to embed student responses and feedback very, very quickly. And then third, I'm able to provide feedback on what is happening, what they're commenting on, what they're sharing in real time. So rather than talking about it, I just want to dive in and show you what I mean. So let's have an aha moment, my loves. To get to Kami, you can get to Kami lots of ways. I'm just gonna go to kami.app.com. It's the website for it. Some of you may use the Chrome extension, your choice. But today, I'm just going to kami.app.com and I'm gonna choose sign in. To get a whiteboard in Kami, look at the main page. You have the ability to open files, you can open things from your computer, but what I want you to look at is the new blank page. When you get a new blank page, look friend, look. You could do lined paper, so it looks just like you're writing on paper. You can do a grid page, so coordinate planes for you math teachers. You could even do a music sheet. But we're whiteboarding, so just a dry erase board. We're gonna do a blank page and click add. There it is, that's it. I know, you're looking at it and you're like, well, it doesn't look like a whiteboard. I'll help you out here. All you have to do is click the menu at the top and rotate the page. And now it is a wide-screened whiteboard. Yeah, friend, that's it. Now you have a whiteboard. So that first thing I mentioned, that first innovation was about ensuring access. So how do you ensure access when you've created this whiteboard? That's easy. You can click the share button at the top. Watch this. I love this. And there's a link to your whiteboard. And so you can make it a restricted link where only individual people you shared with can see. You can make it a domain-based link where everybody with your email address in your email account group can see it, or just anyone with the link. Watch this, it's fancy. Come on, internet, I believe in you. There we go. Anyone with the link can view, and you simply copy that and you share it with any student or any teacher you want to see your whiteboard. If you want them to work with you and write on it, you can make anybody an editor. But if you want to control that and focus on like maybe you and you only, come on back to restricted. And you have the ability to change the Google Drive settings and share that with individual students. And so I say that because it's one thing to have a whiteboard, that's great. It's a digital whiteboard, woohoo. It's really impactful when you're able to share that with your learners and they're able to work alongside you. So my first just innovation that has really, really helped me carry this whiteboard with me is that I can share this with anybody just by giving them the link. It's fancy, it's fancy. So let's pretend I've given my class the link. And today I'm having a conversation that I have to have way too often with my students, and it's about the way they write. So as a middle school and high school English teacher, one of the things that I always pointed out to my students is I want your writing to sound mature. I want it to sound academic. And one surefire way to do that is to stop using simple sentences. You know what they are. Hello, my name is Marcus. Marcus is my name. I like to sing. I like to dance. Those types of sentences I call storybook sentences. If you want to be more academic, you should start using compound and complex sentences. So the first way to learning how to use a compound sentence is with coordinating conjunctions. And so I'm just going to use the drawing tool. Let's go draw. And we are going to write You know what I'm doing here? It's called fanboys. So fanboys is an acronym we use to remember what our coordinating conjunctions are. So they're for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And notice that just with the drawing tool, I'm whiteboarding on my computer, just like I would if I was connected to a giant display or projector. And so I have my fanboys on the screen. And I tell my students, a comma plus a fanboy can combine two sentences. And so I want them to start finding sentences or proclaiming sentences that use these words. So innovation number 2 is I go to the text tool. Watch this. I click in the blank space, and right here in the text menu bar, you have a voice typing tool. So that every time a student says something, you turn on voice typing and you can get that student comment on the page. So I look around the room and I say, students, I need sentences with these words. And so they typically comment with sentences about me. And so a student might say, Mr. Stein loves to dance and he loves to sing. It's on the page. They also, let's see, it's gonna be a new year. What else would they say about Mr. Stein? Again, just text tool, click on the page, and then click the microphone. I was failing Mr. Stein's class, but I turned my life around in the new year. Simple. Just use the text tool and then go ahead and comment out what your students are sharing, whether they're in person or virtual. And then as they're sort of sharing all of this, we are writing everything down. I say, students, that was great. I got our words on the paper, but none of it is punctuated. And so I can give immediate feedback by going to the markup tool. And that is where your highlighter is. And so I can use a box highlighter in lime green and I can have my students or me point out where all of the mistakes are. So there's an obvious one right there. That's pretty obvious. There's an end mark missing right there. Comma before the coordinating conjunction here. And all of these changes, because I shared everything, are happening in real time. Another great way to give feedback, watch this, is there's an insert media button, and down at the very bottom, you can put in stickers. And so if a student is nailing it and doing a great job, you can take a sticker and drop it right here on the page. And so notice how my whiteboarding session is continuous. It doesn't stop. It is something I can do virtually. It is something I can do in person. And these are the big 3 innovations that let me take a lesson that I would do on a traditional chalkboard and enhance it and bring it everywhere with Kami. But wait, there's more. So a couple of other innovations that Kami brings to the table that I can use in conjunction with this lesson that really bring my whiteboard with me wherever I go is that as this lesson continues, we're gonna have a lot of text on the page, a lot of annotation on the page, and I'm gonna start sharing with students because I want them to start putting in what they know. As I share things, it becomes important for me to know who did what. That's a good thing to do as a teacher, is in the moment, you're excited, you're asking questions, but after the lesson, you really need to determine, did I engage all of my students? Did everyone participate or get a moment to participate? Watch this. If you open up, there's a sidebar inside of Kami. If you open it up, you have 4 iterations of the sidebar that you can look at. If you hit this one, it's called the annotation summary. And it will tell you what annotations are on what page and who did it. That means that after the lesson, if students are using Kami and signed into Google accounts, you can see who participated and what. So not only are you engaging the students, but you're tracking the engagement with the annotation summary. So just don't forget, look, as you click it, it shows you what they did. Fancy. I love that. So I'm gonna close that up. And I would say one of the last big innovations that has really let me take this whiteboard wherever I go is the ability to extend the lesson. And so don't take for granted that this whiteboarding, this teachable moment is good. It's great when you can give them something that can add on to that or extend that learning. So let's make it great. To do that, I'm just gonna click Add Media, and there's now a YouTube button. So that if my students look at this whiteboard and they still say, I don't get it, you can take this instant YouTube search, and I'm gonna put conjunction junction on the page. Yep, you remember it. Ta-da, ta, ta-da-da-da. You know it. Come on, there we go. And I love this, I love this. It renders directly onto the page. It is resizable, so that's a little big. Let's go smaller. And you can definitely move it around where you like. So I can tell my students, our notes are here, my feedback for you is here, as well as the extension for the lesson with the YouTube link is here. And so I'm very appreciative, not only that I have this whiteboard that can go wherever I go, but that it truly lets me embed and do things with it that I could not do prior to. Now let's have an aha moment. There are some things that I do with these whiteboarding lessons that allow me to facilitate them easier. I'll give you an example. Sometimes I don't want to control the whiteboard. As a secondary teacher, sometimes I like my students to lead or my students to show what they know. In this case, I don't want to run the whiteboard. I want them to run their own individual whiteboards. In this case, you'll want to assign your students a blank page. So a great thing about Kami is that it has full integration with Schoology, Canvas, Google Classroom, and more to come. But this allows you to assign everybody a whiteboard so every student gets a space to work. So sink that in, let that sink in, is that this whiteboard is not just for us. It's not just for the teacher. The kids can use it to show what they know too. And I highly encourage you use the integration. You wanna see? Okay, let's do it. So if I'm a Google Classroom user, it's very, very easy. If you have the integration, you simply go to your classrooms and you prepare to assign something. Same thing goes for your Schoology integration or your Canvas integration. Be prepared to assign these whiteboards. So I'm at my classwork, I'm ready to assign. What you also wanna do is come on to your Kami homepage and create that blank page for the kids. You remember how to do it? I just did this a couple minutes ago. You're just gonna do new blank page. And this time, let's give it a name because it is gonna be an assignment. And so we'll call this, I'm clicking everything. Look at me, I'm just excited. I'm just excited. We're gonna call this Student Whiteboard 12, 14, 20. There we go. And then we're also going to rotate it for the kids, so they have a rotated version. Cool. And I'm just paranoid, just OCD. I like to click the save and make sure, it saves. Just make a show. Okay, we're good, it's saved. Now that I have the blank page and I've named it, you can simply choose create, and I have the integration, so I'm gonna do a Kami assignment. Look, my internet behaving. Go ahead, internet. And then what you wanna do is attach that blank page that you just made. All right, hopefully it's under recent. It should be student whiteboard. There we go. There's our student whiteboard that we're gonna select. And then what you're gonna do is make a copy for every student. If you want all of the kids working on one copy, which is chaos, you can do that. But you can make a copy for every kid. And I'm gonna call this student whiteboard 12, 14, 20. Turn in after today's lesson. I'm gonna put a due date of today. You have the option with Google Classroom of sending the Kami instructions, but they know how to do it. They know how to open with Kami. I've attached that PDF. Done. So what I'm doing when I assign the blank page is, because I'm the teacher, I get a bird's eye view of all of their whiteboards as they work in real time. I know, look, opening classroom. So it's almost like I'm supervising their creativity. And as the students work on it, their whiteboards will show underneath their names. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So my first teacher tip, if you're really gonna go in with Kami and start assigning it for students, you're gonna flip the script and do student-led lessons, you wanna make sure you assign that so you have some control, okay? Cool. More tips, more teacher tips, because again, I realize that this is very natural for me because I do this all the time. And so I want it to be natural for you. So a couple of other tips that I think are important. First is post the link to your whiteboards. Don't let them sit in silos. The first thing I did was ensured access. And so hit the share button in Kami and make sure people can see what you're working on, okay? Second tip is, you might have seen this, I just did this, when I made this Kami assignment, and this is only for Google Classroom, but when you make a Google Classroom Kami assignment, yep, you can do this, watch this. You can do feature restrictions. And so that means if you're a Google Classroom user and you're integrating this whiteboarding strategy, you want students to use markup tools. You can choose which tools they have access to when they do the whiteboard. So if you have kids getting distracted by inserting images or constantly putting in YouTube videos when all you told them to do was to color, you can restrict the tools with the Google Classroom integration. So just remember that. Tip 3, I showed you this one, use voice typing a lot. When you need text on the page, don't interrupt your lesson by running up to the computer and hurrying up and typing something and then turning back to your kids. When you hit the text tool, you can click the microphone and do the text orally. It's a faster way of getting the words on the page. Number 4, video comments. I didn't show you this one, but I can. Video comments are a way of explaining things so the kids see exactly what you're trying to show them. Sometimes text comments don't translate very well. And so if you want what you're saying and doing to translate, you're gonna need to go ahead and explain that. And so a great way of explaining that is hit the comment tool. You can choose video comment, and all you do is click on the page and leave a video comment. It is that simple. It instantly makes a video when you use it. You can explain to the kids what you need to explain to them, and it pops it right on the page. I'm impressed. Other tips. There's a built-in Google search. And so if you don't have images, you can simply click Add Media, choose the Google button, and you can add media instantly. So if I needed to add in images of conjugation charts or images of my coordinating conjunctions, or if I'm a science teacher, look, science brain, you can bring in images directly from Google right here on your page, And I would say the last thing that I think is a really important teacher tip is that copying and pasting works. So if you already got your content in another platform and you're like, ooh, let me put all of this on my whiteboard, just copy and paste. That's it, just copy and paste. So friends, I would say the last thing I want you to do is to really reframe how you think of your whiteboard or dry erase board. 1, you don't have to erase anything anymore. You can save and make a new one. You can add pages. With a traditional dry erase board, you gotta erase and start over and you lose all of that really useful content. Here, erase nothing. I also tell my teachers, my teacher friends, glue, staple, Mod Podge, cut out, because this is not a paper-based whiteboard. In the classroom, you couldn't write with permanent marker. You couldn't glue things to your board. And so this one, I really want you to open up how you think of what you use a whiteboard for. I mean, writing on it is good. I like that you're doing that. But what I would love is that you're really bringing in any content possible to help explain what you're trying to teach. And you can do that with a digital whiteboard. And then I would say my last final thought about rethinking things is if you're not one of those who likes to start from scratch, you can use an existing PDF as a whiteboarding template. So if you already have a PDF document with a chart on it, with an image on it, that can be your whiteboard as well. Got it? Make sense? If it doesn't, look, hey, I'm your friend. If it doesn't make sense, or if more ideas come to your brain, or if you want to explore whiteboarding alongside me, hit me up on social media. I am Mr. Stein online. I use Kami as a whiteboard all the time because I never lose anything. And so I encourage you to do the same. Never lose your notes again. Never stop the teachable moment with some whiteboarding wizardry from Kami.